Welcome to Retro Scale Modelling. This is part 14 of AMT Star Trek Next Generation Enterprise D. Scale is 1 to 1400. In this part of the video, I'm going to be dealing with a little bit more paint work and hopefully get on to some decaling. So let's jump onto this and see how well I get on. To start things off, I'm going to be varnishing, but just a quick reminder, I use Umbro 24A to paint it. But now I'm using Pledge Clear Polish to varnish. A little note on this varnish, I keep on forgetting to say, it will darken your paint a little bit. So if you're not sure of the shades of paint and that you got, always do a tester, because the shade will be slightly darker after the varnishing. The paint I used, the colour on here looks a little bit grayer than it actually is. That's because I'm doing this without my overhead light being on, so it's not picking up the true colour of the kit. However, once I put the light on, you can see the duckhead blue coming through. So what I'm doing here is painting the phaser banks, and it's XF56 metallic grey by Tamiya, and that's just the band that goes right around the bottom and top saucer sections. Next, I'm using Umbro's 424 RC cream, and this is for the escape pods, or lifeboats as people call them. As you can see, there's quite a few to do. I'll tidy it up once everything is dried, but I will be having to paint them afterwards, once the decals go on, because some of the decals will overlap onto the lifeboats. I didn't realise that at the time, but I'll get into that. And then it's back to Tamiya's XF56 metallic grey for more phaser bank. And once everything's dry, I'm just going to start tightening up these lifeboats, just making them more square. And now I'm just going through the various sections, painting in the phaser banks, adding a little bit more details, but the predominant colour is the Tamiya XF51 metallic grey. So I'm going to start on the Aztec decaling. I'm cutting out the pattern now. I've already started on a couple. You can see the side of the bench there. The key thing here is to cut these out as close as possible to the actual colour. Because these are not laser cut like you would buy in your kit or from a shop or whatever, these will have a blank film all the way over. So it's important to cut them as close as possible to the pattern that you're printing off. When these decals are printed off, I do give them a coat of lacquer as well. I've gone on about this before. This clear lacquer that I'm using here from Halford's, it's a very good sealant to seal in those colours. Now, as you can see, I fast forwarded this process. However, other than the cutting of the decals, these are treated in exactly the same way as you would place on a normal decal. So they're in a bit of warm water, and then I shall apply a decal solution, and I'm using microset for this one. The reason why I'm using a set and not the sol is just because I've run out of sol. It's no particular reason. I would generally use the red one because that softens up the decal more. But this one just is good. It takes a little bit longer to soften up the decal. So as you can see there, I've cut some of them in quite broad shapes. That was just to ease it. It's not a problem. The only issue is that because I done this, I didn't cut out the sections for the lifeboat areas. So the Aztec detailing is gone over them. So all it means is I have to repaint over some of those parts with the cream colour. So I'm now putting on the nameplate decals, and I'm using the ones that came with the kit to see how well they worked. They didn't work out too well, so it looks like I'm going to have to sort these out also, which is a bit of a shame, but that's how things go. So what I've done here is I've scanned the copy of the decals that come with the kit, but because it's in a background colour, all this colour is going to have to be removed. So I should point out as well, I scanned these 1200 dpi. That's a very high resolution, but because I'm going to be reprinting these decals, I want the colour to be as sharp as possible. but that does lend a hand to problem viewers. It will pick up every single mark on this decal sheet, which, as I said, will have to be dealt with. So first of all, I have to get rid of the bulk of the background, and that's just a simple filling colour with white. But you can see all the spots and dots about everywhere. That's because it was scanned in a high resolution. So if I zoom right in there, you can see it all pixelated, and obviously I want that into a solid colour. So I highlight each section and then replace the colour. Now this can be really tedious work. Again, the bulk of the colour is moved quite easily, but it's the actual finer details when you go into removing all the speckly parts of the sheet. It does take quite a while to do. However, it is the same process as the bulk removal. I just highlight the area that I want removed. I either delete it or well, erase it, or just change the colour to white. But once that's all done, I'll take it and put it on an A4 size piece template. And I've added a second one as well, just to fill in the sheet. So it's going to give me some spares. I'm just filling the sheet so I don't waste any decal paper. And then all I have to do is print it off. Checking the resolution as well. Of course, this is what I'm doing here, making sure it's 600 dpi now. I could leave it at 1200, but it would take so long to print, so I put it down to 600. It will be sharp enough. And this is the printed sheet. I'll spray it in clear lacquer, let it dry before I'll use them. The decals are dried on the saucer section, so I can now paint over the lifeboats. So I'm just using the same colour, so that's Humbrol 424 RC Cream. And as I'm going through it, you can see the pattern starting to come up. The centre parts still needs decals on it. I screwed them up. When I cut them, I cut into them, so I had to reprint them. So I'm just waiting on them drying before I can apply them. And now that the main decals and nameplates are dry, it's time to place them on. And as you can see, they are going on fine. Slightly oversized than I would have liked. I made them slightly bigger. It was more of an error on my part, but it's only a fraction over, so I decided to use them instead of going through all the process again. The mustardy colour parts didn't stand up too well, but I do like that faded look, so I decided to leave them that colour. I actually think they blend in better anyway. So it's back to the saucer section here, and I'm just placing on the decals that I screwed up on. And as I said, what I done was, while I was trimming them, my hand slipped and I cut into them. So I didn't want to use them. I wanted them all into one piece. So I'm just applying them now. And it's only a little bit around the centre piece here, as you can see. And then it's back to putting on more nameplates and the other little bits and pieces of decals throughout the hull of the ship. There's not that many to go on in actual fact. You would think a model this size would have a lot more, but the actual ship on screen doesn't have a lot of markings at all compared to, say, the Enterprise A. And this is where I'll end part 14. So I've got quite a lot done in this part. Most of the decaling has been done. If I've left any out, I'll probably put them on off camera once I have a look and everything's dry before moving on to the next part, which of course will be the actual main assembly. So if you haven't done so already, why don't you check out the channel for my other videos? If you subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. That way you'll be kept up to date not only with this build, but all my future builds as well, of course. Hit that like button, don't be afraid to leave a comment, and of course you can share the video. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.